Let's see here. Oh, there we are. We're live.
Hello, stream. We are all here.
Oh, there we are. We're actually there.
Now we're here.
Yep.
Hello, streamers.
We started with DTNS. Now we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Did a little GDI dip, and now we're
something I've been waiting to ask you about. Kendrick Lamar and his release on Independence Day of the Not Like Us music video.
What did you want to ask me about it?
How did you feel about it?
I liked it very much.
Was it not one of the most amazing things ever? And I say that in clear contempt of people that say that about everything. But this is like actually one of the most amazing things ever.
Yeah, I watched it once. I watched it twice. I probably watched it 15 times. Like, not like in a row, but over like the next couple of days. Because somebody would like, ask me something or, have a note or whatever. And it's just like a very, well, I guess not joyful, depending on, what part of rap battles sides you are on. But for me, very joyful video.
So I caught it within about 20 minutes of it being launched.
Yeah.
So I was got to be one of the first like 4 million people or whatever to watch it. And then immediately after that, the breakdown started coming up. So I watched each of those. Well, before then, even I'd watched it again just to take notes on the hidden imagery and the illusions and everything else that there were.
Yeah.
And then I watched it with my daughter, and her and I broke it down. And then I watched all the breakdowns online. And then my 11-year-old came in, and she was like, "Did the video come out? I heard the video came out." So then her and I watched it.
That's
this
so
is,
cute.
This is
like,
her. This is her first rap battle.
Your household situation where you've got like kids being like, "Hey, Dad, this is cool. Let's talk about it," and me just being like, "Hey, Otis the dog, want to watch this again? We'll airplay it to the TV."
Yeah. So yeah,
I also just really like the song.
It's a really catchy song.
Really catchy song. Yeah.
We're talking about the Kendrick Lamar video.
Yes, we are. W. Scott is one. And hello, visionaries. Eileen is handing off duties of the pup to Tom, so she will be with us shortly. But we are here, and yes, we're talking about Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us video being released on the 4th of July, which, I mean, I guess there's a lot of symbolism in that in itself.
Well, so he did he did the pop-up on Juneteenth. He released his video on July 4th.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the video, and I forget exactly where, he's wearing a shirt, and the shirt says 8/8/24, which August 8th is apparently, this is something I'm just learning, is apparently an Independence Day celebration amongst some of the Southern Black folk. It's like a separate thing.
Like August 8th?
August 8th. So people are thinking that he may be releasing his album on the 8th of August on 20. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much of like kind of like musical release theater that I pay attention to. I'm kind of like, if there's an album, I will listen to it. So just let me know when that day comes. But I'm also I'm a very big Kendrick fan, and just, it's not even that I live in LA right now, but he's very, hometown hero type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first exposure to Kendrick was during the Super Bowl. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of recognize this song a little bit. Like, okay, what's going on with this? And then I heard a little bit more of his songs and stuff. And I was like, all right, this is decent. And then when this whole event broke out and it became I almost want to say like a West Coast versus Canada thing. It piqued my interest because of that, because I grew up in Palmdale, so I grew up in what was then LA County. It is now Ventura County, I think. So yeah, the hometown thing kind of kicked in, and
Palmdale is Ventura County?
It is now.
It was rezoned at some point.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because when I grew up as LA County, it's no longer LA County, and I think it's Ventura County.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would have thought it was, gosh, Palmdale. No, I guess it could be Ventura County. I thought that Palmdale feels like it's too. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not a civil engineer, people, but Eileen Rivera is here with us. Hi.
Oh, hi. Can you guys
Hi,
hear
hi,
me?
hi.
We
Do
can.
I
We
sound
can hear
okay?
you. Yep. Yep.
We,
you
You
do.
sound
we
okay?
are,
I don't
of
have
course.
to adjust
we-
anything?
Nope.
You do actually. You sound a little low.
A little low.
A little
Yeah.
low? Okay. Let me see here.
But I'm only hearing you through one headphone, so. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let's see here. Oh, wait.
I don't know why you do it. I don't know why you do it.
How about now? Now?
That's better.
Yeah.
Louder?
That sounds
A little bit better? Okay. Yay.
It sounds
Let me
on
try
par
and
with
boost
me.
it.
Nope. Don't boost it.
Don't boost it? Okay.
Don't boost it. You're boosted enough. And go ahead and say something. Give me a synopsis of your day with Seven.
Yes.
In a
yes.
sentence.
How has Seven been today, Eileen?
He's been fine. He's just, we have to come up with new ways to keep him occupied. So we have a virtual trainer, and she gave us a lot of suggestions for puzzle games and even safe rawhide, stuff like that. So I just finally gave him the very safe rawhide. And he loves it. He loves it. And I was like, oh, I don't know how much you should. It's huge too. It's way bigger than he can handle. But he's just, nah. It's the first time I gave it to him. And I'm like, are you ever going to leave it? Like he loves it. I was like, this is the way I can keep him quiet. I used to do this and I still do. I have this mat, and it has grooves, and you can, freeze ice. And so I put blueberries on it and freeze it. And he loved that at first. And now he's like, I'm kind of over that. I'm like, really? It's only been a few days. But then we have the rawhide. So we'll see how long the rawhide, or it's like a safe rawhide. I don't know how to explain it, but I know rawhide is not always good.
I love how just,
like baked.
even though you guys are, dog parent veterans at this point,
Yeah.
it's like puppies.
Oh,
How do they work?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, honestly, yeah, we've kept dogs alive for 13, 15 years. But this moment of time of, a month to 9 months, 9 months is the youngest. Django was 9 months when we got her. This is new territory. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. And there's a lot of stuff that's similar. But dude, this guy is mouthy. He is so mouthy, you guys. He is like, and I think he's part Jack Russell Terrier.
Like that too?
He was, yeah, but we got him at 10 months, so he wasn't so.
He wasn't, yeah.
And actually,
he wasn't a baby.
And Django was also very mouthy, but she was already tugging with rope and having fun with that. He just wants to fine. When I have the rope, he's trying to get closer and closer to my hand instead of tugging. He's like, I want to get closer. So I can, yeah.
Which is, that's cute when you've got a 10-week-old and not a 10-year-old.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
I know. But he's going to do daycare soon for 3 hours. And there's going to be some other puppies there. And I cannot wait because they will tell him, no. No, I don't want to be, or, there's some a little bit really trained older dogs that'll tell him, no, you don't get to bite me right now. Whereas he looks at us like, whatever, so much fun, play. He needs to learn from the source, which are other dogs and socialization.
Some dogs aren't right for dog parks. A lot of people are like, dog parks, too much, too many variables, it's not safe. Otis is fine at a dog park, but he also ignores other dogs. He wants to play fetch with me. And he'll politely sniff and then be like, he almost gets annoyed if a dog wants to play with him, where I'm like, you need to make some friends, man. I brought you all the way here. Beautiful day. Come on, make some friends. Go look at them running, and he's just sort of like, no, I want to play with you. They're all different.
Django was like that. Django was totally like that. She was like, I mean, it's fine. I'll say hello. I'll sniff their butt. And then, okay, you and me, let's go. She would like, oh, I get hello. And she would run and have fun, but she would quickly come back. Sawyer was a little more social for sure. Ray did not. She was like, oh, I need to go home. Like, I don't even want to be here.
She just didn't even want to engage.
Yeah, we had daycare. And apparently, you know, we saw pictures of her just sitting by the gate. Okay, whenever you're ready to let me go home. It was like
so
Sawyer was up there socializing and having good time, you know, and she's just like, I mean, maybe I'll play.
Otis doesn't go to daycare now. I really should probably look into it. But when I was living up north, he went a couple times a week. Just there would be certain mornings where I'd be like, "You're going to camp today," you know, and I'll see you this evening.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just gonna play. And I liked the plays and whatever. And the first time I dropped him off, he was just like, well, what's this? The second time and third and fourth times, like he started to like exhibit weird, like he'd be shaking, you know, tail between his legs, kind of like lunging at me, like, don't leave me here, where I was like, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
But every time I would pick him up at the end of the day, he'd be like, ah, I was a dog all day. It's like, I think it's the separation between me and him was actually helpful for him, even though it was hard for him at first. It was actually better for him. Yeah. You know, it's like, we gotta do that sometimes.
You gotta do that.
I know I've said this before, but just like children.
Just like children. Yeah. Like right now.
Eileen, I need you to pick a place for your microphone because every time you move it, it sounds like your desk is farting.
Really? Okay. Well, because it just keeps.
It is kind of a farty desk sound.
I know it is, huh? Yeah. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Other than that, the sound is fine. But yeah, that's.
Oh, good.
Every time,
I'm gonna try and tighten this. Yeah, I just needed to tighten it. Thank you.
Chaz Basden, you haven't missed anything. We're just shooting the breeze right now. But what we are getting started.
We're ready.
We are
and apparently I was mistaken. Palmdale is still part of LA County. Just barely.
Northern LA County, yeah.
Yep. Very
thank
north
you
end of
to
LA County.
Stealth Dave for letting us know. I've not been to Palmdale. I know where it is.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. I've just never been there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of cities in LA I've never been to.
There's so many cities.
And I've lived here for a long time, off and on over the years.
The opposite is also true because you tell me where a neighborhood is in LA and I'm like, where's that? Like, it's LA. I just, you know, once you pass Valencia, it's just LA to me. Oh, everything's LA after Valencia. After Magic Mountain, everything's LA.
Well, I kind of agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I agree with you
it's
on
true.
that. But, you know, it's also, I mean, Eileen being like, hey, do you want to like meet me on the corner for a snack? I'd be like, what corner?
Yeah, which corner are you talking about?
Are we talking like your neighborhood or my neighborhood? Because we can't walk to each other's houses. I mean, maybe I could if I did like a 3-day hike through the city. I don't know, hang out in the tar pits for a night. No thanks.
I don't even know where the tar pits are.
Oh, they're on Wilshire.
See? Again, I grew up not very far from LA, like, you know, an hour's drive or whatever on a good day.
Stealth Dave says Los Angeles is the city where you can drive 2 hours and still not be across town. Very true.
You can drive 2
Depends
hours
on the
and barely
day.
be across
Depends
the
on
street.
the day.
Day and time. Day and time.
Like,
I just try to avoid rush hour as much as possible. If somebody wants to get together with me at like 5 o'clock, then I have to decide I'm not leaving this location till at least 7, because I won't get home in a good amount of time. If I'm far away from home, you know what I mean?
Well, like for you know, for example, Otis and I, we do this hike over by Dodger Stadium, which I'm not close to, but I'm not like super far away from now. But
yeah,
that's
to me that's far.
Yeah, it sounds far
from
right?
you now.
It's like if I were to leave after the show today, because I have to go through downtown and then come up north a little bit. I mean, who even knows how long it would take? 45 minutes, maybe? Maybe I'd get lucky and make it in 35. If I go like at 7 a.m. on a Sunday, 7 minutes.
Yeah. So fast.
Because just no one's on the road.
No one's on the road.
It's like, that's people always talk about it. And I'm like, you kind of, like you said, like you have to pick your battles and times of battle. Because if you can move around in off hours, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Not a big deal at all.
It's really easy. If you get up early, I've thought about, there's a coffee shop in Echo Park.
Early or late,
I don't really want to go right now. Like this would be a bad time, but like 7 a.m. on a Sunday, it's open. It's a good time.
The worst part about all of this is we have the same, there are townships, there are neighborhoods in LA that have more people than all of Alaska, and yet we still have the same problem with traffic. It can take me 45 minutes to get to the mall. It can take me 3 hours to get to the mall, depending on what time I leave on what day.
Depending on, Ambassador Jomo says actually Chicago is kind of like that too. It's kind of like that in all areas, right? It's just, it depends on.
Well, Chicago's
it's
a good
relative.
example of another city where it's like there's a city. I mean, a big city, but it's also very spread out. A lot of people live in Chicago and have to do a lot of driving.
I grew up in Indiana. Once I became a teenager, I was in Indiana for a couple years here and there, and I was in between Indianapolis and Chicago, like almost halfway between both of them, and I can tell you nothing about either one of them.
Yeah,
because we never went. Like, why would we go? Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
I've not been to Indiana.
I could take you on a walking tour of all the best drinking spots and hanging out spots on Purdue campus.
I mean, why not? Let's do it.
As a teenager, I could tell you all about that. but
I love
know
Chicago.
Nothing about Indianapolis.
Chicago is one of my favorite cities. But yes, it has its traffic problems.
It sounds real nice when Roman Mars talks about it.
When does Roman Mars talk about Chicago?
He did an episode of Chicago as I See It and did a walking tour of Chicago with his wife.
Oh, I haven't listened to that.
Yeah.
I would love that.
He did it for Chicago, a city in Arizona. I don't remember.
Just because I know that, 99% is, recorded in upstate Oakland. Uptown Oakland. Yeah, so I was like, Chicago. Yeah.
Used to be downtown.
Great podcast, by the way, for anybody who wants a new one. Still subscribe to all of ours, but 99% Invisible is a really, really good podcast.
It's very different. You're not going to get your tech news that way.
No, but sometimes there's tech.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes
you kind of never know what you're going to get on that show, which is one of the reasons I like it so much. Like, that's one of my favorite, like 7 a.m. on a Sunday. I got an hour podcast. Let's do this. Let's learn about, Chicago's bridges.
I heard a criticism that 99PI was one of those podcasts that had gone all woke. And I was like,
gone all woke.
But 99PI was kind of the OG
it's not
woke
a very
podcast.
Political podcast.
No, but like they've had gay producers and things like that for like ever. Like since almost
does that
the very
mean you're
beginning.
Getting woke?
Well, according to people that are against such things, it is, yes.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of waking up, you know what we should do?
We should
do one
show.
of these episodes over.
Whoa! Let's do this.
Let's do this. Okay. All right, Eileen, if you don't, I only added like one little thing to our notes.
Okay.
If you
where's that?
Which is just mentioning Siri updates in the news.
Oh, okay.
It's like the fourth bullet point.
Got you. Yeah.
But otherwise, I think we are good to go. All right.
Well, hurrah!
Well,
let's do
the
it.
Deal.
I do, and I'll count myself in 3, 2. Welcome back to Apple Vision Show. It's episode 23. Eileen Rivera, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great, Sarah. Hello, everybody out there. Hello, visionaires.
Hello, visionaries. We still haven't figured that out. But some of you have started calling yourselves that, which I find delightful.
Love it. We love it so much.
Visionaries, you're smart, you're looking towards the future. That's kind of what we want to do here on Apple Vision Show as well, is talk about what's going on with Apple, but also look towards what is going to be going on in the future. And today, no exception. It is a Monday. It is July 8th as we're recording this, and that usually means that we get a Mark Gurman from Bloomberg Power On newsletter weekend dump of Apple news, rumors, and things that Gurman feels might be coming in the future. Citing other people, of course, but he's kind of Apple's greatest mole. Working for Bloomberg.
I love that. Greatest mole.
Yeah.
It's true.
So the big one, and this is the full article covers a bunch of stuff which we can cover, but the big one I thought, Eileen, that was interesting is that the rumor is that the Apple Watch, which is, you've got the Apple Watch and then you have the Watch Ultra, which is the larger model. Both apparently, the Apple Watch itself apparently getting a little bit more of a streamlined body. So larger screen, but thinner thickness overall. Thinner thickness.
That's where it's at. Thinner.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, and sometimes I, for anybody watching our, I don't feel like my Apple Watch is like too thick, but I think thinner is better. I'm also just used to it. It's just that's the option that I have. Anyway, the reported story is that three new versions of the Apple Watch are being readied. That the Watch Ultra, which is the bigger version currently, isn't getting a huge upgrade, but that all three models would get a new modified chip going forward, which is great. However, that would not be a chip that could support Apple Intelligence, which is what we saw at WWDC. This is how Siri's going to be better. We're going to get Chat GPT and AI capabilities within the operating system, but it doesn't sound like Apple Watch is ready for that yet.
I'm really surprised about this, to be honest with you. And, sometimes when you call Siri, I feel naked. I don't have my watch on. And I've got my phone and my watch together. Like sometimes they'll both go at the same time. Like, I don't need both. But it just seems like maybe that's just like a side note, and that they'll include it eventually, kind of like what we thought was going to happen with Vision Pro. But now, oh no, Vision Pro will have some Apple Intelligence, so perhaps it's coming later. But I'm just a little shocked about that one. And like you said, the chipset, something there related to the phone. Maybe we don't really need it on the watch at this point, but I mean, do you use? I usually pair my watch with my phone. I actually took off the data plan. I don't know why I even had that for so long.
Yeah.
And so I do need it to work with the phone anyway. So if I'm going to have my phone, then presumably I'm going to have Apple Intelligence. So I probably don't need it on my watch. I guess I'm still kind of stumped. Like, wouldn't they want it on everything? If somebody's just using the watch on itself, wouldn't they want that person to continue to use it?
Yeah, especially because Apple does, it's not necessary to have its own cellular plan, but that is something that is offered. The watch, is designed to be the only computer that you take out with you on that, that morning walk with your dog type thing. Didn't work for me either. I just felt like I'm going to have a fanny pack with my phone in there anyway. I feel weird not taking why do I not want to take my phone? What if I want to take a photo? What if there's a rainbow? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
There really aren't any situations that I can think of, unless I were swimming, that I wouldn't just want my phone with me. It's not that hard to have both. But I do think that, and again, I'm used to the Apple Watch. I wear it at night. Not everybody can do that or wants to. It is a little bulky. I kind of just never thought about it because I never thought about there being an alternative, but I would like it to be a little bit, more, I don't know, like streamlined to my wrist.
Yeah, it's going to look more fashionable, right? And maybe, like yeah, the thickness, I think it'll just kind of be more seamless around your wrist, right? I was just thinking about you like swimming and like Apple Intelligence, dude. What would that look like? What would that? Hey, Apple Intelligence, or however you call it, right? If you call it Siri or whatnot, what would that look like? You're like, why would you need that in the water? So even though I'm surprised that we're not getting Apple Intelligence,
trackers that are designed to be worn while you're, underwater. Apple Watch not being one of them. I mean, it's it has resistance to water, but not really supposed to be like what I wear when I'm deep diving for clams. But so on the subject of Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is coming to iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and some of that is going to apparently be rolled out later this year. The ChatGPT stuff that was originally announced would be part of that, but it does sound as though Siri itself, sorry for anybody if I woke up your assistant, is not getting that big overhaul until earliest next spring. So like spring 2025. This would be, I think, part of iOS 18.4. I was a little bummed out about that because I was like, oh man, so we heard all the stuff, but it's not happening until next year. I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff in iOS 18 that we'll all be able to play with. But it does sound like some of the stuff that is going to be the most remarkable to people who use Apple's Assistant regularly is it's not right around the corner. It's going to be after the holidays.
Yeah, and like we said before, I think it's smart to just take their time and get it right instead of rush to market. Even though it's something that everybody wants to get their hands on, right? Like I think it's hopefully going to work better than if they would have rushed it out this year. So maybe if we just stay patient, it'll be a good thing. Although that's the thing everybody wants to see. And I'll talk about it in a little bit, but based on what I've seen on iOS 18 so far, I'm like, yeah, that would be really cool to see some of the bigger bells and whistles, in the latest iOS, because the rest of it is they're upgrades, but they're not like blowing my mind. As spoiler alert, if I'm going to talk about iOS 18 in a bit. The other thing about the watch that really surprised me is some of the health features that are going to be developed soon, for detecting blood pressure and sleep apnea and glucose monitoring. I don't know. I guess not that I use my watch for that many health reasons, but I think I assumed that stuff like that was already there. And I don't know. I mean, and especially talking to you, Sarah, because you always wear your watch to track your sleep. Not that you have sleep apnea, but like, I don't know. I figured that some of this stuff, I don't want to say is basic, but I just thought they existed already, and I just wasn't taking advantage of it. You know?
I know what you mean. So yes, I do wear my watch while I sleep. Again, it's not for everybody, but it just doesn't bother me. And in the morning, I get not every morning, because sometimes I don't get my allotted 8 hours, because that's what I've told my watch I would like in a perfect world. But there are certain mornings where it's like, congrats, you slept enough, where I'm like, yay. I tried. I went to bed early. Yeah. Everything was comfy, all that good stuff. But when it comes to something like you mentioned, sleep apnea, that's a little different because it has to measure blood oxygen, right? It has something to do with, what you're taking in and out of your body while you sleep, rather than, I think, what Apple and many other companies that track sleep, do at this point is it's measuring not only just movement. I mean, if I'm tossing and turning, obviously I'm not getting good sleep, but heart rate. But blood oxygen is another level of that. Glucose, obviously, another level of that. And then for high blood pressure, aka hypertension, which someone in my family is dealing with that pretty severely right now. Where I'm like, you better get that Apple Watch. I want this to be something that is that works. What it sounds like, and again, this is coming from Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg, is that Apple rumored to have some of this stuff rolling out sooner than it is. I think it's the right call to hold a feature that is health related until it is 100% ready. I think that is absolutely the right call. I mean, that's the responsible call. At the same time, the sooner we get the stuff, the better. If I'm wearing a watch all the time and I can communicate with my doctor about my hypertension, which I don't have, but if you did, that's awesome. I mean, that's so much easier than having to go into a hospital all the time.
Yeah. It says it doesn't take place of the actual blood pressure monitor, but it helps sort of, you still should put your arm in a cuff and do that. There's many models on Amazon that you could purchase that are pretty reliable, but it's still something that's going to be helpful. And
it's like
I imagine
it's
will
like
create
the
a
first
graph.
order of business. Yeah. Like if Apple Watch is kind of also, I was thinking about this earlier, Eileen. Do you ever, if you're wearing do you wear your watch regularly these days?
Yes. And then, in the back of my mind, I still have battery issues, which I think has been resolved since I've upgraded the the actual OS on the watch. But I still don't always wear it because I look at it in the charger. I go, oh, maybe not today. I don't think I need it today. I want to make sure it's fully charged when I really need it because it goes all day now. But I don't know why. I just in my head just don't always wear it.
It's
I got out of the habit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, the reason I ask is because there are certain times where I will be sitting casually here in my office or, maybe in my living room doing nothing. And my Apple Watch will be like, heart rate increase detected when you appeared to have not moved for 10 minutes. I'm like, thanks. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, like that's, I mean, whatever. There are though, like most of the time I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know when my heart rate spiked just now. I'm literally chilling, like eating crackers. But there have been a couple times where it has happened where I was again, I was being physically inactive, but like I had read an email, maybe it was work related, maybe, there was something where I kind of had to like scramble a little bit mentally and it goes off and I go, oh, that makes sense. It makes sense that my heart rate would have increased a little bit just now. But I mean, I'm not doing that myself all day, every day. I don't notice that stuff. So whether or not it's dangerous is, of course, a very, very personal thing. We're all different. But that has been something that, I've started to pay more attention to. Like, wow, am I like overly stressed right now? Because I didn't know my heart rate increased, but my watch did.
One time during turbulence on a plane, my Apple Watch started to be like, your heart rate's going up. I took it off. I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I know already. I know already.
I'm like, tell me, give me more data. Eileen's like, nope, don't want it. Don't wear it.
Yeah, it's like, I know already. You're right. You are so right, Watch. But you know what? I don't need you to keep telling me because I'm just going to get more anxious about it. So I took it off until the flight was over. It's like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
But that's just me. I get a little paranoid with that stuff. So I don't know if there's anybody out there like me. But there are some times when I just don't want to know. But I need to I need to have more courage. So I need to know. I really do need to know. So I will try with the watch.
Again, when it comes to health stuff, and we all have, we have or know people close to us who have various health problems. Again, everybody's different. There are times where, yeah, like heart rate increasing when I'm just sitting there watching House of the Dragon. Like, I'm like, I know why my heart rate increased. I'm fine. It's not like a physical problem in my body. I just, that was a stressful episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or there might be something else that, after a while I kind of go, interesting. Starting to see a pattern that I don't really understand. Maybe I should talk to my doctor. All of that I feel like leads to us being healthier in general. So features coming to the Apple Watch, I'm all for it. I don't have sleep apnea as far as I know. I know folks who have struggled with it pretty bad, and there are other tools to do that, which sometimes require like having a thing on your face when you're sleeping at night.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that can just kind of provide more clarity on like, here's what we're dealing with. Here's how we might be able to, make you more comfortable as a human. Thumbs up.
Yeah. 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 And again, the more data that you have about yourself, the better you know about yourself, right?
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about Siri updates for iOS. Not expected on iOS at all until spring of next year. But before we move past the new Apple Watches, Eileen, what is your temperature take on this being the 10-year anniversary of the Apple Watch being released? And if that makes like a big difference this fall when we would typically get new models.
I feel like we should celebrate. I didn't even realize when, I was doing research for the show. I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 10 years. That's crazy. Time flies. I think we should celebrate. I think we should get a new model for the watch and like have a big old birthday party for the watch because we had one for the phone. Like let's do it. Let's give the watch some love because I think, people have at the beginning, I think we were all kind of like skeptical an Apple Watch, and I think it's slowly become an important tool and can be, like we were just talking about for health reasons, become even more important for us. And a lot of people wear watches. Why not have a digital one that can do a lot of different things other than tell time? And
yeah,
I'm all about let's give the watch the love. So let's celebrate 10 years. Very excited. I hope there's a special watch. I'm sure there's going to be some, very expensive, who knows, Louis Vuitton or whatever, bands for the 10 years that we can't afford anyway.
Anniversary watch, right?
You know it. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see that if they give it more love, because what was it? 3 months ago we were talking about a freaking smart ring. Yeah, forget it. It's all about the watch. I don't need a ring.
I agree. And not to take away from anybody who is enjoying their
ring.
Oura.
Yeah.
Oura.
Yeah.
I always want to say Ouya. That's a whole different thing. And Samsung ring. I mean, there's the
so
ring, the ring posse. Good on y'all.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear something on, I don't know, maybe it's because, I don't know, I just have little baby hands. The idea of a ring, I'm like, it's not going to fit. It's going to be too big. I'm going to lose it. But my watch,
yeah.
I never really take it off. I mean, unless I'm in the shower. Even then, it can survive and
it can survive
anyway.
Yeah. You just do the dial thing and the water spurts out. If you get water.
I love that. Yeah, no, it's all good. Anyway, yeah. So good stuff. At least on the front of what we can expect from watchOS.
Mm-hmm.
All right, why don't we take a little break? That wasn't a very elegant break taking. Sorry about that.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was
fine.
Good.
Okay. All right. So We are back from break, and this is going to be a good one because Eileen, I am in the iOS beta program, which means that I get software updates before they're, ready for prime time. But I have not tried iOS 18. So tell me how did you get there?
Well, I applied for the developer program myself, and lo and behold, they gave me a beta. And I first started with the iPad, and then a few days later, I applied it to my phone. And I am excited about what's to come. And what we have been shown so far is okay. It's good. And I just hope there's more. There's some stuff that's off, and there's some stuff that's really good. Like I mentioned last week, Math Notes is fantastic. I love it. The tap backs, and you can include your own emojis. Fantastic. I love it. And actually, RCS so far, when I share videos and when I get videos shared from non iPhone users, so far it's been good. Like they're not seeing, when I send a video, they're not seeing it, pixelated and smaller. So the promise is there.
Yeah.
For the basic things that we want, and I really do love the new tap backs. I think they're fun. I think everybody's going to have fun with that. And let's see. Control Center is really great. I love all the new options on Control Center. Like even as something as small as like the flashlight, you can make the flashlight. Let's see here if I can show this. You can make the flashlight brighter, than before. I don't know.
This is only something I had heard about, but
little modifications are great. I even just turned on music haptics. I don't need it for accessibility, but I wanted to know what it felt like, and I thought it was good. I could feel the beat on the phone when I'm holding it as the song is going. The photos reorganization is, I guess it's nice. I don't know. I don't think it's changed
I was
drastically.
kind of wondering about that because it has been touted as like, ooh, it's a total overhaul of your photo library, and I'm like, there's so many
think so.
Themes already, like pets and selfies and
exactly. I like I said, I need to spend more time with it. I do like that there is a folder called Not on iCloud because I am the person in the family that has exceeded our iCloud account, and so I'm needing to delete stuff. But I don't know. That was generated, but there's nothing there
like
because
a way
everything
to
was on iCloud.
Find a photo or photos that you just can't, aren't in like
offload
the more obvious
stuff
folder.
Too.
Yeah,
if I offload stuff and decide I don't want to share that to iCloud, as I'm thinking about reorganization, like what am I going to share to iCloud and what I'm not, it's kind of nice. But it's not great. I'm not going to lie. And what's the worst is the home screen layout. Like the organization is not that great. And quite honestly, when you customize, so basically you kind of like tap on the screen and you hit edit on the top corner and you customize. Let me show you what happens if I press tinted. Look at all my apps. They're so ugly. I don't know. I
don't even get that.
Yeah. So basically you could tint the color of your icons to match a color on your wallpaper or a color in general.
See, I don't care about design enough to do this.
See, look at this. Look at how ugly it makes it uglier.
Oh,
these are
I don't like that.
Ugly.
Yeah, for anybody listening to the audio version of the show, it's like, do you want to just make your apps all look like bright red for no reason?
Terrible.
These are talk about
terrible.
That looks like an ER emergency.
I'm showing you the worst colors.
I saw that, I'd be like, "Is Eileen all right? Something's wrong with your phone."
Okay, maybe yellow looks better, but it's just some of this stuff needs a little bit more sophistication is all I'm saying. And I'm still going to use third-party apps to make it better until I see different, but it's just I don't know. That was sad. I know, not everybody cares about design, but those of us that do, I don't even care that much. But this option is so ugly. I'm so sorry, Apple. It just does not work. I can't.
I mean, I care
Apple
about
tint is the worst.
design to a point, but that's almost why, I mean, on Mac OS, for example, it's like, when have I changed my wallpaper? I just use what they give me. Like, it's like, I don't care. Like, it looks great. Looks great. Okay. I'm looking at a picture of Sonoma County right now, on the desktop. And, yeah, there's a certain customization thing that there is a camp of folks who are like, I want to customize the way I want to customize, and I don't have to explain why, and I want that. Give me the power to do that. Totally fine. Totally get that. And then there are people like me who are like, yeah, but look at Eileen's yellow apps on her home screen. Like, I don't want that. I just don't want it.
Ew.
But again,
Gross.
it's like, oh my God, it's like, what is this, a Spotify phone? But again, we're all different, so it's good to have options. Good to have options. So nice to know what you like and don't like.
Yeah, I will be turning that off. And sometimes it's very hard to turn off. But a couple of other fun features. I don't remember reminders working with calendar very well, but and I thought I saw a video walkthrough with someone saying, "Oh, this is new in iOS 18." So please tell me if that's true or not. But if you put a reminder and you give it a date, you give it a time, it goes on your calendar immediately, like that, which I don't believe happened before. I like that. Not that I
like
use
that
them
too.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
But it's
Remember if
nice.
that happened before, or was possible with some sort of third-party calendar.
W. Scottis one says yes, it's new. So I really like that.
Okay.
It's nice to have that feature just seamlessly work. Like, I'm usually in reminders without using the calendar. The Apple Calendar, I usually use Google Calendar more, and then I just sync that. But knowing that reminders can show up on my calendar, perhaps I will use the Apple Calendar a little bit more, which is nice. The other thing that I was surprised about is that Notes having dictation, having voice recordings. I guess I thought that was, I don't know why I thought that was something that already happened.
I did.
I thought it did, but people
where
were saying,
were people saving all that stuff before?
I guess they were just voice memos, but now you can see it transcribed
they're
on
just
Notes.
in the Notes app, which is the right place for them, I think.
Yeah, and so when you're doing dictation on Notes, you can see the words now. So I think that's kind of fun, and it's actually pretty accurate, to be honest with you. I want to try different languages, but I just did it today, and I thought that was pretty good. So there's a lot of stuff that are great, and like I said, I'm just really curious about all the stuff that's coming, in particular with AI. But, so far so good. There's some stuff that I haven't tried yet. Like, I have the passcode app now, and it's there, and I see it all organized, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it just works seamlessly. So maybe because it's so embedded, I don't really know. I don't need to go in there. I've gone into the app itself and deleted. Oh, wow. Why do I have this password for this thing I never use? And deleted some stuff.
Right.
So it's nice to have it all there.
Yeah.
So that's good. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot more stuff to play around with. I'm just checking my notes here, but yeah, so far so good. Oh, game mode. It's kind of like, it works like sleep time, right? When you open up a game, I play Pokemon on my phone.
Oh, it'll kind of just like,
it goes in game mode, and then you don't get disturbed.
Do not disturb for other things.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's nice.
Exactly. Yeah, that's super nice. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and there's so much more to kind of, discover, especially with the control center on both the iPad and the iPhone. But, these are good subtle upgrades. But I'm waiting for the big, like, this is it. Oh, and by the way, you can use math notes on your phone too, even though people were touting it with the Apple Pencil and whatever, but you could just do it on your phone on notes. Just type in the number, hit equal, and then you'll have an option. It'll just show up the the equation, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm digging it.
I can just hear the person now being like, well, that's what the calculator app is for.
Well, that's true. Actually,
true. But the point I think is being able to kind of use some of the stuff in tandem within the same app. Maybe you're in notes anyway. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
like you just don't have to be like, oh, I have to, if I want to know anything, about like multiplication, I have to open another app.
Yeah, you could just get it done. And then you'll have it there as a record, because on a calculator, you don't have it as a record. I mean, I guess you can look at your history. That's another thing, at least on the iPad. And on the phone too, you can see history.
Have history?
It does now. It does now.
Okay.
So
I don't know how much I would need that, but it's probably going to come in handy at some point.
Yeah.
I've actually I've resorted to not that not that I don't know what like 20 plus 20 is, but there are times where I'm just like, especially if I'm, I don't know, like sending someone an invoice and, there's, we're talking dollars and
percentages.
Cents and, Yeah, exactly. And so I'll ask Amazon's assistant, who is my household assistant, like, hey, what's 20 times 40, 10%, like whatever, and I'll get my answer and type it in. But to have that on a device, excuse me, which is you don't have to be sitting in your office or talking to a voice assistant that not everybody has or even wants to have. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
We all got to crunch some numbers sometimes.
Okay. You know how I showed you the tinted on my phone and how ugly that was? Let me just show you really quick for video people. This is what it looks like on the iPad. It is so ugly.
Horrific.
Like this is
It looks like a computer monitor from 1982 that only could like show you a black screen and green text or fonts,
they're not going to hit home runs
whatever.
all the time. Listen, 90% of what I saw was pretty cool and great upgrades. Sometimes you just got to go, well, that did not work. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And again, there are probably a lot of people out there who are like, no, I want that. That's what I want. It's my favorite color, or I don't know. It's a, thematic in a way that it speaks to me. All good. We're just not into it. We're just not that into it.
Okay, if you like it, apologies if you like it. Everybody has different tastes. So good for you. But
true story.
That is not what I was looking for, personally. Anyway, should we talk about
new iPads coming? One might say, wait a second, didn't we just get an iPad announcement?
I know.
This is the part of the rumor mill, but that iPads, in fact, up to 4 different models of new iPads are on the horizon. So this, so again, we had the iPad Pro with an M-port chip, iPad Air, 2 new sizes. That was a big part of Apple's iPad announcement that was previous to WWDC. So you might be like, in what world are they already working on new iPads? Well, we know that they are, because that's just how supply chains work. Like Apple and any company, and not just Apple, is going to be working on something that's like, the flip phone. We haven't seen it from Apple. Oh, they're working on it. Whether it's going to come to fruition or not is, kind of remains to be seen. But these things tend to be in the works for years before anybody from the public actually sees them. So I don't know, Eileen. I mean, I'm still on the fence, as I've said on the show before, and I still just, I don't know. I should probably just pull the trigger and get the iPad Mini. I think that's what I'm looking at. But it feels so new that just the idea of getting updated iPads. I don't know who's interested in that besides people who have some skin in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always because it's going to be the next processor, right?
Yeah.
And with everything that we're learning with AI to come, I'm sure they're learning like, well, it needs to be faster in order for this to work better. So, I mean, I think it's really the speeds, but the average consumer out there, not a lot of people need that. It just depends on, what you're working on, right? Like I do video
Yeah.
editing and I'm still working and using finally iPad, Final Cut Pro for iPad. So, if I continue to use my iPad to edit finally, then yeah, I'm going to want the faster processor and, you know, but yeah, I was, a little shocked. We have in the past discredited the Mini, but it is on the board as still existing. And even though our phones are getting bigger and bigger, there were a lot of people when we talked about the Mini the last time who were like, I love my Mini. I do
Right.
not want to get rid of it.
Yep.
I'm never getting rid of it. I don't need a phone situation on it. I just want my Mini. It's just easier to carry. It's just the right size to hold. So, I feel like the people have spoken and I feel like Apple knows this. So it doesn't sound like it's going anywhere. But I feel like the M5 version of the iPad will be the one that I upgrade to. I'm very happy with mine right now. But I could see that it may not be fast enough in a couple years.
Yeah. All the iPads that I've had, and again, the last new iPad I had was, I don't know, 9 years ago or something. I haven't had a new iPad in quite some time. I've never had a Pro. But I really, really loved my iPads in the past. But something happened where I was just sort of like, and maybe this is just the way that my kind of household is set up. Again, I work from home, so I'm a little bit unusual in that way. But I've got my Mac Mini running the computer that I'm talking to you on now. I've got my an iPad Air because I don't have one, MacBook Air, that I, kind of just sort of roams around the house with me. Sometimes I have it in the bedroom type thing, something that's what I'm going to pack up when I go somewhere. And then I have my iPhone, obviously, and my watch. And the iPad, for whatever reason, back in the day when the iPad was relatively new, so we're talking 2010, 2011, I remember just being like, okay, work's done for the day. Kind of, it's kind of like chill mode on the couch, and I can have my iPad and kind of look up things here and there. That was great. But I went back to the MacBook Air because I feel like it's also very light, very easy to have on my lap, very easy to kind of like put away, and bring out in the same way. It's like I have to be reminded why I need an iPad again.
Yeah.
And maybe a good reminder that you don't need every form factor that's offered to you.
Right. Yeah.
Because I just don't like, I'm like, where does it go? I have a computer for like every part of my life in every corner of the room. It's like, well, I think that's your answer, Sarah, is that you don't need an iPad right now.
Yeah. And that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's for, I don't know. I've somehow incorporated in my life where the laptop, I don't have a Mac Mini, but the laptop stays, docked in my office, and then I bring the iPad out. Now that I have a keyboard, like, I have a third-party keyboard that doesn't work it's probably not as great as the Magic Keyboard, but it's pretty darn good. And now I have that,
Yeah.
there are still some moments that I do run to my laptop. I'm like, oh, I need
I just have to
this.
do
Like,
something. I have to do something right now. No, all the time.
yeah,
I used to, I this is, I don't know. I had this boyfriend who was always like, what are you doing on your computer? You're always on your computer. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I mean, sometimes I was working, but you know, when it was off hours, he'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. What are you doing on your phone? I mean, what does it matter? It's all the same thing. It's like we're probably both looking at the same Instagram accounts. And, you know, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, I got to type something really quick or, you know,
Yeah.
do something that's sort of multi-window type thing. It's like, I just feel like the laptop is the form factor that has not stopped working for me. But, you know, to your point about having an iPad and a keyboard, I think that dual form factor of it's a laptop, but also touch screen capabilities, at least, you know, in certain senses. That's really where we're going. I think so many of us are just like, but we don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
And like I said, it's not perfect because there's sometimes, by the way, WS Goddess is wondering which one I have. It's called which keyboard I have, and it's called the Inatech, Inateck, not Inatech like from Office Space, but it actually lights up. I don't have it turned on. It actually lights up and it works pretty well. There's been a couple cases where I'm typing and it kind of does something funky and weird. I'm like, why did the cursor move to a different place? I don't know if it's because I'm touching the trackpad accidentally while I'm typing. Right. I'm still kind of testing it out. And also it's super when you've got your iPad, it's magnet, it hooks up magnetically. Yeah. It feels heavy, like it wants to tilt this. It wants to tilt it back when I have it on my lap because the weight is so far up on the magnetic part sometimes. Oh. So when I'm typing, it feels like I'm typing and the iPad is moving closer to me, like tilting back to me because I'm typing. So it's not like a laptop where it's very stable. It's not awful at all. But maybe that's partly why sometimes my typing is weird and the cursor goes off. But maybe it has to do, it's just not, again, it's not the Magic Keyboard. But it was like $70. It was pretty cheap. Cheap. Oh, and they've got a 40% off coupon right now. It's $80 with a 40% off. Oh, see, I bought it too early. 40% off $80. Let me tell you right now. Inatech magnetic keyboard case.
I cannot tell you how many times someone will, someone who's like, oh, Sarah's the tech friend that I have. They will, ping me and be like, do I get a new iPhone today? Like I shattered mine, or do I wait? Do I get a new iPad? Do I get a Magic Keyboard? Do I get a new Mac Mini? Like so many questions. And, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, tell me about the situation that you found yourself in kind of thing. But more often than not, I just say, listen, unless you follow this stuff really closely and you're paying attention to, not only news cycles, but like product manufacturing cycles type thing. If you need the thing that you need today, get the thing.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be something better. You're never going to like get ahead of it. You're going to get ahead of it, for like a race, not the war kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the way I feel, again, with myself is like when I'm, having these internal conversations about iPads, I'm like, do you need it though, Sarah? It's like, the answer is no, I don't.
Yeah.
I want it, but I don't need it. So, again, flush with cash, different conversation.
Different conversation.
Totally. But for the rest of us, it's like, do you need this thing now? Get the thing. If you can, get the thing that you want. And that's kind of, that's always been my advice.
Yeah. Yeah. I shouldn't feel bad about the 40% off coupon. It was 20% when I bought it. Now it's 40%. So good for everybody who wants to get this keyboard.
I wonder if you could go back to them and be like, hey, I am, pretty big deal on the internet. And, I enjoyed my 20% off, but it looks like 40% now. Could we have a conversation? I mean, I don't know.
When did I buy it? Oh, I did buy it. I just bought it in June. Like, yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, like within a month type thing. You might be surprised.
I will do a product review and post it on my own socials and see what happens. And see
there you go.
They see it.
There.
And then I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe they'll give me a new version later. Who knows? Or a different version. Who knows?
Well, speaking of things that you can watch content on, the iPad, obviously, Apple TV, iPhone, all being versions of that, and Mac OS as well. There is a new movie. Apple Original Films released the trailer called F1. Oh, all about F1 car racing starring Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Star-studded cast, not just Brad, but
right.
Yeah, it was funny. I saw this, I guess, I don't know if it was yesterday or Saturday, whenever it was released, over the weekend. Because I've got some car head friends. And they were like, oh, this looks really good. And I was like, didn't we already do that? Like, wasn't there already an F1 special? Not on Apple Originals. There was one. And I think it was like an ESPN 2 like series kind of thing.
Okay.
And I don't know anything about cars, so I'm just not the right person to ask about this. But I'm like, I would be willing to watch this.
I know a lot of people that actually love cars, especially people I didn't think that would love cars. And I have a feeling if I ask them about this, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to want to watch it. Let's see. 130 million Apple paid for this film. I had seen other numbers. I'm trying to find it right now, but I thought it was made for like $200 million. I mean, this is let's just say this is an expensive movie, and Brad's driving. He's pulling a Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? He's in there. So this will be really interesting.
In fact, even I don't actually. So I don't usually like watching trailers because I just feel like I learn too much about the movie or the TV show beforehand. Mm-hmm. I'd rather go in blind. It just
it's better.
More
you have a better
fun
experience.
For me. Mm-hmm. But I did watch this because I was like, again, I was like sort of confused. Like, wasn't there already an F1 car series? But yeah, and there was. There have been several, but just not as an Apple original. But I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, so this is like, it's a very Brad Pitt like doing his own stunts kind of thing. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I mean, please. I mean, stay safe, but like do your own stunts. All good. But yeah, it does seem a little Tom Cruise-esque.
Right. Like it's just on the ground. But I mean, it's still dangerous because he's going crazy speeds. And then like the actual trailer itself, he's talking to the first couple, seconds of the trailer, he's talking to the woman in front of him. And she's like, well, how do we make that safe? He's like, this is not about safe. Right. It's all about fast. So I'm not into the car scene, but I know a ton of people are. So this kind of makes sense that this is happening. And that Brad is helming it. So I think it's going to be a success unless it's just an awful film, which I doubt it is. He doesn't do bad films that much. No. So I think he makes good choices. Is there a bad
Brad Pitt movie?
Well, I mean, depends on,
I think there are certain movies that were like not, I don't know, box office successes. But I can't think of any movie where I'm like, what a crappy movie that was that Brad Pitt was in. Like more often than not, it's like a pretty great movie.
Let's see. It depends. Yes, more often than not, it's probably a really great movie. I mean, I've seen so many of his movies, from long before, like, Legends of the Fall is like one of my favorite. But I know that wasn't like a big one for the critics, you know. So
but it was a big one for the ladies that liked Brad Pitt.
for the
I'll tell you
ladies,
what.
that's right.
And it was kind of the long hair era, you know, and just like
Yep.
hanging out by a river. Like, yeah, it's.
I mean, I don't know. Some people
he was a
didn't
very
like.
big deal.
Some people didn't like Meet Joe Black. I liked it, you know.
Is that the one where he's the devil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Falls.
I don't remember anything else about it.
Okay, remember. This is one that some people didn't like, which was recent 2019. Ad Astra. He was in space, but I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Again, maybe because I like Brad Pitt. Yeah, it's kind of like. He's up there. I mean, I feel the same way about Tom Cruise, where I'm like, I don't know why I like all his films, you know. I just do, and I've watched so many of them. So I mean, Fight Club, come on. Okay, The Devil's Own may not have been that great in 19. I'm just looking up his IMDb right now.
The Devil's Own. Okay,
it's with Harrison
He had
Ford.
like some like Satan thing going on in cinema for a while.
He did. But
Brad's the devil again. Okay.
But I mean,
I don't remember that one.
I think I saw it, but I don't think I really liked it. You know what I mean? Some people didn't like Cool World. That was I think the answer to the Jessica Rabbit one, right? At the time. Yeah. So, I mean, again, early days. Yeah. But to be honest with you, like once you hit Interview with a Vampire, I mean, A River Runs Through It was so great. But yeah, once you hit Interview with a Vampire, it kind of just, speaking of Tom Cruise,
those two Runs Through It, Legends of the Fall. I got those confused. I was like, him and a river. River Runs Through It. Different movie.
But
anyway, Bodies of Water.
Bodies of Water, for sure. Seven was so great.
Seven was so good. Still holds up too. I watched that recently. It was. I don't know.
Did?
Well, I mean, I didn't like go out of my way, but you know how sometimes when you're just looking through what's on cable TV, sometimes you're like, I like this
and movie. It was on.
So you just end up watching the rest of it, even if you missed the first 10 minutes type thing.
Yeah.
I did that with Groundhog Day recently, which is, just a delightful movie. Like, how often am I putting on Groundhog Day for myself? Never.
Never. But it was on.
But if it shows up on TBS, I'm like, let's watch it.
Let's have it on.
Seven was on that, again. And I have a weird fascination with movies that are very R-rated that now are on cable TV because that they're going to be edited in weird ways, and sometimes like someone's going to swear and they're going to fudge that out, and fudge being a word that you hear a lot, where you're like, wow, so many people just yell fudge in movies on cable, but I find that actually pretty funny. Seven, great example of that, because it's it's a very adult movie.
Very adult. I remember seeing it in the theaters, and I came home and I turned on all lights in my house. I was like,
scared you?
It scared me. And my roommate at the time, she was like, "What happened?" And I'm like, I just saw Seven, so I need the lights on everywhere. Because I came home first and she wasn't home yet. And so I was like, oh my God, I got to turn on all the lights. I'm alone in the house. Oh my God. It's one of those psychological thrillers that kind of sit with you, but it's that good. So.
It's very, to the point where I was like, all right, I need to make sure I'm not, put in the back of someone's van.
Exactly.
Yes. You got to, keep your head up, everybody. Keep your wits about you. Well, Eileen, I think we're coming to the end of this episode of Apple Vision Show, episode 23. So it's a Jordan app of sorts. We just want to remind everybody that you can get a hold of us if you have feedback, you have thoughts, you have questions. comments about anything that we talk about or might talk about in the future, feedback at applevisionshow.com is where to send that feedback. And we also are on Instagram and TikTok as well. And I give Eileen all the credit for doing that because she's just really good at it.
I try to give a little extra flavor.
No,
Lately I've been a little busy.
You're like built for this. I don't know. I don't know why. Like I just sort of like post a picture of my dog once a week.
I don't know. I'm in the socials way too much. So I've been trying to pull back a little bit.
No,
but,
you're honestly so good at it. So everybody do check out Apple Vision Show on the socials. But until next week, wanted to, just let everyone know that we thank you so much for being with us every week. We're a relatively new podcast, we're not even 30 episodes in right now, but we've gotten a lot of good feedback and responses from all of you. So keep it coming. Your feedback makes our show better. And I guess we'll leave it there.
Are we supposed to say goodbye? Bye.
That was sort of somber. It was like, and we'll leave it at that. Goodbye. And we both just sort of stayed silent. I don't know. I never know how to sign off of these things. You never know what you're gonna get.
Okay, well, maybe I'll add that at the end.
Sarah with the amazing transitions today.
Wait, which one was your favorite?
The break actually got me because I was trying to look something up in another window, and she was like, "So we're just gonna go to break," and I was like, "I don't even have that right tab open."
Oh, I thought you were saying like my segues were, I'm sorry.
No, so like, there's 5 tabs on the side of StreamYard, comments, banners, brand, private chat, and the recording tab. And the brand is where the video is for the cutting into commercial stuff. And I had it on private chat, and I was typing something into private chat. So when you did that, I was like, oh, and I couldn't find the button. Then I found the button. Then I found the other button. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is. And it started off weird because at the very beginning, I think Eileen was talking and the screen froze. So then I went to both of you, because that's my default is to just go to everyone in case someone else is talking.
Yeah.
So I went to both of you, but Sarah, you were like looking down at your desk or something like that. So then I had to go back away from both of you just to Eileen, and then it unfroze and it was fine. And then like 2 minutes later, I went to single Sarah out. And instead of singling her out, I actually pushed her out of the call and brought her back in immediately.
Oh,
I clicked the wrong button.
I wondered what happened. I thought something happened.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, well, I think because you were talking, you didn't notice it. But yeah, it was like instead of hitting the full screen on Sarah or Eileen, whichever one of you it was, instead of hitting that, I hit the remove from studio, and I was like, oh my God, it's like 3 pixels away, and I hit the wrong one. So,
well,
it was like a quarter of a second, but yeah, that's how it started. It was like both of those were like in the first 3 minutes of the show.
Well, I'm sorry if I made anything harder today.
No, I can keep me on my toes. I like it.
Yeah. Well,
Jermaine,
right? Yeah, we have to be, mentally aware, right? If I don't screw up Amos's day, is he even learning?
Right.
Yeah.
Jermaine King says now chat can choose how you say goodbye. Yeah, maybe you guys can give us some suggestions.
Actually, yeah.
Please that would be fun. Yeah. Different let's see, different languages, different just script something out, like some sort of like, I don't know, like a famous quote from a movie or something, and it will be like, "There's our out." Let's see if you know what we're talking about. And then, hey, I forgot
the only like ends of movies I can think of are like weird, darling, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably not the sign out we're doing on Apple Vision Show.
It would be so funny though. Oh my God.
Why did they do that? Oh, it's an old, you have to go back to episode 23.
You have to go back. my God. Oh, the
Willie
one
said,
thing.
we presented our vision. Now go forth.
Yes.
Oh, okay. We
Well,
present now. Go for it. That's a good one.
That's kind of fun.
I like it.
Like lean into the oracle part of the vision show kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like it. You know what? There was just two more things about iOS 18 really quick. I forgot to mention that since I installed iOS 18 beta, like my phone heats up faster. If I have too many things running, it's so hot. There's several times every day that I just like close out a ton of apps because it just goes like it's burning my hand. I'm like,
You're
oh
on,
my God.
You're on 18.2 or 18 beta 2.
Let me check.
It won't tell you.
Oh, it won't tell me? I thought it would tell me.
It'll tell you the build number, but it won't tell you the version number of the beta.
Oh, I thought it did.
Yeah. So typically, because I'm almost always on the betas, the early betas, the developer betas. Typically, you'll get really bad battery life on the first beta. The second beta will give you a slightly better battery life, but it'll heat up too much. The third beta will actually start feeling like it's coming together, and by the time you get to beta 4, it feels like they've actually got it worked out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you're looking at bad battery life and hot phones for at least another beta or 2.
Right. Okay. That's fine. It's just, I was like, ooh, I can't believe it. And also, you said, Amos, in our chat that your kids like the tinted apps. So it's a generational thing, maybe.
Well, because they've been choosing different icons for their apps that are all the same color as it is. So this is kind of like just Apple leaning into what they're already doing. I find it confusing and frustrating, but it's not for me, apparently.
I know.
Because I agree with you. I don't like it at all, but all my kids do. So I don't know.
And you're right. I'm running 2, so I'm about to upgrade to 3. So I'm going to do that.
Beta 3 came out today.
Now. Apparently, I'm about to upgrade to that right now.
I'm also on Watch Beta.
Sign up.
Beta.
Oh, you are? Yeah. How is that?
And I haven't noticed any differences.
There's nothing at all? No difference?
No.
But do you use your watch a lot?
Yeah, I double watch it. So this is my daytime watch, and then I'll wear this in the shower so it gets cleaned off. I'll loosen it up and wear it in the shower, and then I'll put it on the charger and take my other watch and put it on the other wrist for my nighttime. So I'm never without a watch, and I haven't noticed any significant differences at all. Like there's.
Well,
but
that's kind of meh.
Tried that out. I've been messing with the iOS and the iPad OS betas, but I haven't really been messing with the Watch OS beta.
Yeah.
But
it feels like
a difference.
Yeah. I mean, I like the new stuff in the it just feels like stuff. And I probably should have said this on the show. It just felt like some of this stuff was catch up, work, which that's always the case because we know Apple waits, a little bit to add some of these new features that maybe the Android system gets, but it's still good.
It was interesting to hear your opinion of the Photos app because my opinion of Photos app was very different. I actually really enjoy the new layout.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it suits my.
Do you like it better?
Photos app.
Do you like it better on the iPad or the phone, or both? You just like them both?
I don't know that I've actually used it on the iPad because most of the time that I'm using Photos on the iPad, I'm using Lightroom to do my editing because now that I've got an iPad that can edit with a decent screen, that's all my photo editing has gone to the iPad. So
I think I was more projecting sort of the layout itself. Like it's kind of, I don't know. It didn't change that much for me.
It did for me. It did enough for me that I really enjoy it. So your mileage may vary, I guess.
I guess so. It just
Sarah's
it's
over here like,
fine.
I'm not even on the beta. This is all bullcrap to me.
It's fine.
Crap. I just feel a little left out.
Yeah, let me know when it works out for you.
Yeah, let me know how that beta stuff is going.
I know. I mean, like I said, it's fine. I just didn't blow me away is what I'm trying to say.
Because I haven't felt blown away by any software update on anything for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not to say that it doesn't get better. I think, they're incremental things that, people go like, oh, yeah, that one thing. They fixed that finally. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
That kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Like, of course you get that. But I can't think of the last time that I used an operating system and was just like, wow, so different, so new. And I'm not even saying that I want that. It just,
Right.
I think that like Windows 95 was probably like, I remember just being like, whoa, okay.
Whoa.
Like, oh, like internet, like it was, very big deal. First time I got a Mac, I was like, how does it even work? Where do you find things? That kind of thing. Mobile devices for some time, definitely that. iPhone, definitely a big part of that. But I'm like, when's the last time even right now, I'm probably going to replace my current Mac Mini because it's just getting a little long in the tooth. And, I could always use
It's time.
yeah, it's kind of time. But I'm like, it's not going to revolutionize this that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
It's just going to have a little bit more storage and run certain programs that need an M1 processor.
I was gonna say, I put the link in the show notes, but Mac Rumors has a buyer's guide for all the different products that kind of gives an estimate on how far into the cycle something, a particular product
That's
is.
great.
It's really useful. It's fairly unbiased because it's all based on the trends for that particular item. And I'll share it here. So, for instance, your Mac Mini, it says caution right now because it's reaching the end of how long they're typically out before there's a new one. 538 days, and the average is 700 days. But it does this for all of the Apple stuff. Like the Studio is.
Oh, that's great.
Don't buy right now because they've there's only been one update, and they updated it 454 days, and it's been 399. So it's going to say, so this isn't a great example, but if you go to the the MacBook Pro 252, they say it's neutral, it's mid cycle, because the average is about 390, so it's right in the middle of how often they're usually updated. The iMac is right in the middle. MacBook Air, buy because it was just released. It's still in the first part of its release window. You go to iPhones and iPads, and it gives you, don't buy an SE right now because they're due for an update. And the iPad Mini, don't buy that right now because it's due for an update.
Which is kind of going back to our conversation earlier in the show when, I'm like, my advice to somebody who's like, Sarah, what do? I need a new iPhone. Do I wait or do I do it? I'm like, just get what you want. But if you do want to, go a step further and really try to buy at the right time, this seems like a cool way to do it.
Yeah, this is. I find that this is the way to get it. Was just it's purely driven by numbers, by patterns, and you can see right here, like the last Mac or iPad Mini had a long window. The last two both had a long window, and this one's right in the middle. But it's still it's higher than the two longest ones previous, and it's over double the average. So if they're going to update it, like, if you want one that's going to be, if you're worried about it being new or whatever else, these trend lines on this site right here are perfect. It's just driven by how long it's been since, according historically, how long it's been since the last one was out. So I like it because it's not a bunch of opinions. It's not like, oh, well, they're going to do this and not based on rumor or anything else. It's just,
it's more just like what do you need? What do you want?
Yeah.
Let's look at some numbers. I love this.
Yep.
Well, everyone, my pup is ready to exit the building. Eileen, I would say yours is as well, but he's probably out in your backyard already.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. Tom's gonna go on air soon, so I don't know what they've been doing while I've been.
I think they got an ice cream. So. That's what social media told me anyway.
Social media. Oh my
so now
God.
Eileen's missing out on ice cream. I see how it is.
I am. I'm missing out on ice cream. Oh man.
Well, no, the best part is that you can exit your office and be like, "Where's my ice cream?"
Yeah, exactly.
He's
You
like,
guys
what?
had ice cream?
Sarah told me you got an ice cream.
Tom's out there like, what?
What are you talking about?
What
I've been here the whole time.
Seven's just licking his chops.
I know.
Hey, bud. Yeah. I know. We're gonna go.
All right.
out.
Well, let's say
All
goodbye
right.
to everybody in an orderly fashion, and then we can close out. So,
all right. Well,
goodbye,
Bye,
let's be
chat
as orderly as
room.
possible. Bye, chat room.
Bye,
See
chat
you next
room.
week.
Bye.